Welcome to another episode of Jay Leno's Garage. You know, the fun thing about having this garage is every now and then people show up with cars I know nothing about. I'm completely new to the whole thing. And that's what you're seeing here. This is built by Local Motors. Who are they? What do they do? Well, they have kind of a unique approach to building cars. And it's a car company building a car right here in America. Yes, they're legal. Yeah, you can drive them on the street. Let's meet Jay Rogers. Jay, come on in. You're the president of this whole deal?
Hey, Jay. Yes, I am.
How are you? Former Marine?
Yes,
well,
former
no,
Marine.
always a Marine.
Always a Marine.
Never former Marine. Okay. Tell us what we have here and the whole process about how you build this and how your customer relations. It's really something new and different. And I'm most excited because it's an American company. And it's built here in America. Tell us what the company is.
So I grew up loving cars, and I always felt like as I got older, I grew up in that generation where it changed from cars being able to work on them to cars not being able to touch them.
Right.
And so something about that caused me to want to start a car company where you could be in touch with it again. And at the same time, having been a Marine, I wanted to do something that could get us forward in technology in cars, and I felt like I could do it. But you couldn't not own the whole car company to change technology in cars. And so we decided to start this car company. We and my team of 50 people that are joined the company now have brought this to market. And it is a real get your hands on it car company. And the cars are even designed by a global community of people. So this was done in competition, and they came together on the web to design it. A young man named Sang-Ho Kim, his name is right here, designed this car on the outside. And the inside was designed by another guy in the community. And then we build them quickly, and then all of our customers come in and build them by hand with us in the factory.
Okay, did you get that part? You order a car, you go to the factory, and you build it alongside the team. You build it, not your friend, not somebody else. You actually build it yourself. That's what I find really exciting. Now, is there a legal reason for that as well? Because since the person is involved in the building, they actually build the car, it can go under, I hate the word kit car, but
component car, if you want to.
Component car.
So
okay.
yes, the real reason is America, thankfully, recognizes that enough of its people pay taxes and pay for the roads that if they have the guts to build their own car, they can't stop them from registering it.
Right.
And that's really how that, experimental aircraft, you can do the same thing there. And so we felt like if you want to change the car industry, if you want to do something with new technology and change it quickly, you can't afford to go through the same process that the big guys do for the large volume cars.
Sure.
So if your customer's willing to come in and make the car, then you can get the cars registered that way.
And the nice thing is, if you are handy and you want to build your own car, but you're not sure if you're doing something right, these guys are always there looking over your shoulder going, you didn't torque that quite correctly, or wherever it might be. Okay, now let's talk about the car itself. You know, when I first saw this, I thought, is that a modified Camaro? No, you build your own body as well.
That is it. You put the whole thing on, and we do low volume runs. So the Rally Fighters all look like Rally Fighters.
Right.
And then the next cars that we do will actually have a different chassis, different setup. So this is ground up. But we get that question a lot. Well, what was it based on? What windshield was it out of? And no, this is tempered and laminated glass made to DOT specifications, but for the Rally Fighter.
Now you use, in this one, General Motors components?
That's right. We use a General Motors, so it's a little bit like Jeep used to be, or American Motor Cars, where you got a GM engine next to a Ford master brake cylinder, next to a Volkswagen turn signal, next to a Honda tail light. And so we put components that are large volume, easily serviceable, and made to work as specified in the original car that they came from. And then the rest of the car we make, so body, chassis, uprights.
So you make your own chassis?
That's right.
But your powertrain, obviously, since it's General Motors, it drops right in, it meets all emissions and all that type of stuff.
And has a warranty. So
warranty as well.
If you choose to take it to a GM dealership, it can be serviced there.
So you've got the onboard diagnostics, you can just plug in.
OBD2.
Okay.
Plug in and
Very
read.
good. And the body itself is fiberglass?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go. All right, you got to do a little kind of a Brittany trying to get into this thing, but it's, as you can see, it's a little high off the ground. But it's an off-road vehicle. That's what's fun about it.
That's right.
I'm kind of new to the off-road thing. The only time I usually go off-road is when I accidentally went off-road, when I spun out. So, but you know, the off-road community is huge, and every time we've done off-road stuff, boy, we get tremendous response on the website. So, like a lot of people watching this video for the first time, I'm learning as well. primarily automatic transmissions?
You know, when you're running things like the Baja 1000 and other things, because of the amount of times that the wheels leave the ground, manual transmission gives you the chance to be able to have that shock load to the tranny if you are hitting the ground and it's engaged.
Right.
So most of the winning off-road trucks race with an automatic tranny.
And this is, again, not some pie-in-the-sky deal. They've delivered 50 cars so far, the
That's
new
right.
company. So it's not like, oh, we're going to have this and we will be legal by this date. I hear that all the time. And a lot of times, sadly, people don't make it. But you're up and running and you're registered, and you've got cars in California.
We do.
Right? And this is the toughest state. If you can get a vehicle registered in California, you can get it registered anywhere in the United States. And the nice thing is, it's all legal. They're not cutting corners. I mean, we've had people come by with manufactured cars, well, by January, and of course it never happens. But if you have any concern, it's not really concern because these are all road legal cars.
I gotta say something nice about the Air Resources Board, and I wouldn't have before I started working with them, but the bottom line is that it's 8 people. We worked with them for 8 months to make the case that if you want to advance technology, say this is a lighter car, it's replacing an off-road car that gets 8 miles to the gallon, that there should be a way to work within the legislation to get it emissions compliant if we're using the best-in-class components the way they were made to be.
Right.
And they eventually said, you know what, you're right. And so I got to hand it to the Air Resources Board. They made it possible to register.
That's great. And you got obviously a full roll cage in here.
That's right.
As I said, the body's all fiberglass.
That's right.
I like these wheels. Tell me about these wheels.
New company, Method. They make a great one. One of the things that I learned as relatively new to off-road is that if you come down really hard, we've talked to guys that have broken their back because all 4 wheels break.
Right.
And we jump these cars where we can put a whole rally fighter underneath it when it's in the air. And I've landed on pavement just like the Dukes of Hazzard. And so you cannot afford to have your wheels break.
Right.
These are very strong off-road wheel. They've got a bead lock around them. So you can run them off-road and hit side load where you get a boulder or a rock or
Right.
something like that where you're running the whole car sideways into it. The bead locks really hold on to the wheel.
Are these all grade 8s?
They are probably grade 8 right there, even though you have a different color for the bolt is still grade 8. And then
Right.
this is a Kevlar sidewall tire. Goodyear makes this tire, and it's a great one. The military uses them in
You know, that's
Afghanistan.
another reason to get made in America stuff, because grade 8 here is grade 8. You know, a buddy of mine owns a Bolt company, airplane company, and Boeing and those companies come down, and he charges as much as $4,000 a bolt to get, because you get them from Asia and some of these countries that do, and grade 8 is really not grade 8. You
That's
just
true.
stamp them grade 8,
That's
and you don't
true.
know what you get. So that's one of the advantages, again, of buying made in America stuff. It says grade 8, it's grade 8. And when you're dealing with something like this where your life is at stake, you want grade 8. Can we open the hood up?
Sure,
Let's see what it
absolutely.
looks like.
So here. Under the hood here,
And it looks like you make your own A-arms and everything here, yes?
we did. And so when this car was designed, what we came up with, the first thing the community said is we want it to jump well and we want it to be well balanced. Well, that meant the weight had to be in the middle of the car. So we put the engine in a front mid configuration. So it starts here and ends back here. And then the control arms, the ones that you just pointed out, they go all the way to the middle of the vehicle, if you look especially down at the lower one, so that the apparent motion of the wheel is as much straight up and down instead of being on a curve.
Right.
And so, and when you jump, when you curve the wheel like this, imagine if it was going like this when it went up and down, it causes scrub. When you hit the ground, you hit and it goes like that.
Gotcha.
So having them straight up and down was critical. I jumped this car, I've jumped mine over 500 times.
As you can see, this one's all dirty because it's a real car and they use it.
Or
And-
right above your head here, you can.
Yeah,
you
and
did-
they drove it here. These are street legal vehicles. As you can see, beautiful workmanship. Nicely done. Are those water jet cut? I'm just curious.
So these are milled.
Oh, okay.
And so these are milled, but we have a water jet in the factory,
Yeah.
and we love it. It's this was water jet, so this kerfing here
Right.
was done by water jet. We use water jet because it doesn't change the metal at the edge.
And the nice thing is, the GM motor uses the stock air conditioning and everything else. What do these cars go for?
$99,000.
$99,000. It's under $100,000. That's the car. Why? It's under $100,000, honey. It's only $99,000. So there you go. And you build it yourself. So if something goes wrong, look in the mirror. Yeah, it's your fault, pal. You put it together. Yeah. But she's got air conditioning and obviously heating and electric windows and all the other things. Let's take a look at the trunk. Let's go around the back. That's what I call a full-size spare. So tired of opening trunks, seeing a little can of air in there. That's a full-size spare. You're not going to get anything else in there, but you get that in there. Tell me about these tires. They're pretty amazing, aren't they?
So these MTRs have the nice thing about tires today when you're running a company is Tire Rack, you can go on and you can get data, like how does it run in the wet, how does it run, noise, grip, other things. These tires have a great rating for all round.
Right.
And so they're tough because of the Kevlar in the sidewall. You can run them down to 12 PSI. And so when you're off-road, if you ever run off-road, you know that the lower you run them, the more comfortable the ride is.
Right,
You get all that extra cushion. So
Very
these can
nice.
go to a low PSI and still stay together.
And what rear end ratio are you running back here?
So this ratio right now is, I think, a 3.55 to 1.
Oh, that's not
bad. And so though we go up higher than that, and depending upon how you want to set it up, and it's a traditional Ford 9-inch.
Yeah.
Instead of that 8.8. So you can pull out that whole third member. I didn't know what that was like until I raced the first race where we broke a half shaft.
Oh, okay.
So we broke a half shaft in the back, and I thought, oh, we'll just pull it out. Well, in the 8.8 that we were running, you have these C-rings and other things, and we spent hours trying to repair it. With this 9-inch, you can just pull the whole third member out. You can pull the half shafts out by the ends of the axles out here. It's a...
And let's take a look at this one here. This is the Rally Fighter.
So every car that we make is designed to fit by the customer. This is owned by a staff sergeant in the Air Force, and it's the one thing I guess we didn't talk about is the body style was designed after a P-51 Delta Mustang.
Oh, okay, very
And
cool.
so the canopy, the strap over it, the belly scoop down there, the bullets going over the fenders, they were all mimicked after the P-51. So this one's livery was based on a P-51 called Miss Velma.
I see.
And
Very cool.
Miss Velma, we changed the name to Misbehavin' just because we wanted to be a little different.
Right.
So
I think it's time to go for a ride. Let's fire it up. Sounds good. Got some power.
And I'm not kidding when I say I've passed cars on the shoulder of the road before on the highway, and they look at you like, are you kidding me? 90 miles an hour, and that's probably the most fun.
You know, it's so funny. I spent my whole life in cars with a lower center of gravity. You keep trying to get that center of gravity lower. Now we're going the other way, and it's really kind of funny. But he says you can't roll this car. It's impossible to roll it. I'm not going to try and roll it, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a lot of fun. I'm new to this off-roading thing. I have to give that a shot.
Come run the Baja with us.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I know it's 3,800 pounds, which isn't that light really. That's about what a stock sedan is, about 3,800 pounds,
Yeah.
but it feels a lot lighter. I don't know why that is, probably because the engine is further back, it's more mid-engine. Your steering is very, very light. You've got no ABS on this, right? No traction
ABS,
control,
no
none
traction
of that.
control, yeah.
Don't really need it.
And you should feel it. I mean, if you shift down into fourth, third, second, you'll get a sense of it's third. And it has a rev limiter, so you can run it down into second and first.
You know, I'm so used to cars you have to finesse. It's fun to have a car you can manhandle.
And this car is the definition of that. It's got a little bit of understeer too, so you never have to worry. It'll start pushing before you hit your limits.
And Jay has a real kind of automotive history. His grandfather owned Indian motorcycle, isn't that correct?
Yeah, for 13 years.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Bought it during the war and
Yeah.
started the wigwam.
What's the speed rating on tires like this? About 100?
Oh, no. These tires, because of the Kevlar sideway, are rated up to 160.
Wow.
So you've got plenty of run. This tops out at 140. There you go.
Gotta find some off-road here in LA. There's no place to go off-road. Well, let's take it up in the freeway, see how it goes up there. The nice thing is with the 355 rear end, you're only turning about 2,300 at 60 miles an hour, so you're okay. And here's some great footage of this thing going crazy. Take a look. of fun. Although I didn't get a chance to go off-road because there's nowhere off-road I can go around here. You did get a chance to see the vehicle in action. And Jay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, the Marines can do anything, even build cars in America. So that's very cool. As we said before, it's an American company, and you build the cars. It's a great, great concept, and I wish you the best of luck with it. So congratulations.
Thank you. Real pleasure.
See you guys next week.